Why is Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank saying he'd happily pay a videographer over $250,000 every year to create videos for his brands?
They're getting salaries of over $250,000 a year if they're any good.
But if that's the case, why is the average videographer salary still hovering around $50,000 a year? And more importantly, what can you do to create a business that makes you significantly more than the average $4,000 to $5,000 a month? In 2024 and beyond, creating great video is going to be one of the most in-demand skills, period, because of how many brands desperately need. Well, in this video, I'm going to share what 99% of other videographers are not doing that's keeping them stuck at $4,000 a month. And more importantly, the 3-step process that you can implement today in your video business to make your first 6 figures. And that's not all, because at the end of this video, I'm going to reveal exactly why Kevin O'Leary said he'd be willing to shell out $250,000 to his videographer. Hey, what's up? My name's Nash, and I'm a resort creator based in Hawaii, and I've worked with some of the top brands in the world, including Marriott, Four Seasons, Hyatt, and many others. And a lot of these brands I've charged high 4 and even 5-figure rates to, so I have a little bit of insight into how the industry works. So I'd imagine if you're like most creators, your video business probably started something like this. So you probably bought a camera and quickly realized you really enjoyed shooting, so you shot all the time. And eventually someone invited you to shoot something for them for free, so you did, and they kind of referred you out to a few of their friends, and eventually you realized, wow, this is something I can actually charge for. So you frantically started searching YouTube and blogs and trying to figure out how to price yourself, and eventually you settled on an hourly rate that sounded good. And to be honest, at the time it probably was good, because making something off your passion is better than making nothing. But at one point or another, you probably got stuck on what I call the creative slave flywheel. And this is when you just have to take on so many shoots every single month because you can't charge high enough rates. It just leaves you exhausted and feeling burnt out at the end of the month. Not really a great way to get rich. And that's exactly why you have to stop branding yourself as a videographer, unless you implement this 3-step process I'm about to share in this video that'll help you attract high-paying clients that are willing to pay top dollar. So step number 1 of the process is that we need to create consistent conversations. Now, if you're relying mostly on word of mouth and referrals, it's kind of like the gold panners back in the 1800s looking to strike it rich. Sure, you could go out into the river and pan, but you never knew if you were going to find dust or if you were going to find a big nugget. And it's for that reason that most gold panners actually went out of business, because it was so inconsistent. But you know who did strike it rich at that time was the shops who sold the shovels, the pickaxes, the pans, all the supplies that these panners needed, which is pretty much like outbound marketing. Why? Well, because they were virtually guaranteed to have customers every single day consistently that were banging down their door to buy what they had to sell. So in the same way, as a video business owner, you have to get in front of the people that absolutely need you on a consistent basis. And the best way I've found to do that is through outbound marketing. So outbound marketing is just a fancy way of saying reaching out to brands. This could be through email, through DMs, through cold calling, doesn't really matter. It just means that you get in front of the brand first. And this is great for a couple of reasons. Number 1, you can tap into brand new markets that maybe you couldn't otherwise get through inbound marketing. The second is that you can literally choose who you want to work with because you choose who you reach out to. The third is that you also can choose how many clients you want to work with, because it's just a numbers game. If you want more clients, then you just send more messages. But the fourth is actually the most important, and this is where the real value is. It's that you switch the purchasing dynamic. See, because instead of a brand reaching out to you and dictating what they want, you're actually reaching out to them as an expert who has what they need, and therefore you have the leverage in the conversation. And just as a side note, who do you think is more likely to get hired by, let's say, a resort? Somebody who reaches out with a portfolio with all kinds of random work samples and genres, or the guy who reaches out with a website with examples, case studies, and results specific to resort clients he's worked with in the past? Kind of a no-brainer. So all that to say, clients respect business owners who actually know their value and can clearly articulate what that value is to their clients. And even if they don't need you right this second, they can put a pin in it and then come back to you when they actually do need you. So at this point, I think it's pretty obvious why you need to increase the amount of conversations you're having, but unless you just love sending messages for fun, which I personally don't, then you need to figure out how to turn these conversations into actual paying customers. Which brings me to step number 2, which is to stop selling videos. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. So most creators start a business because they enjoy shooting video and they realize that they could make money at it. So in other words, the entire business is the fact that they shoot videos. But that's not how the top 1% of creators think. But you're not like 99% of other creators. You're the 1% who thinks differently. You see, because growing a video business actually requires a lot more than just creating videos. You have to acquire customers, you have to make great offers, you have to differentiate yourself from the ever-growing mob of of new creators entering the market every single day. So what's the difference between the creative who started a video business and 3 years down the line realizes he just created an exhausting job for himself versus the other one who started the business and 3 years down the line has multiple editors, contractors, and systems that allow him to scale to hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars per year? Well, the difference isn't the video, it's actually the selling and the marketing of the video. Sell the vacation, not the flight. There's a reason that the airlines use pictures of tropical destinations, luxury resorts, amazing fun adventures in their marketing. They sell you this, not the method of getting it. And in the same way, if you're producing video for brand, you might think that you're selling videos, but you're actually not. You're actually in the business of selling video as a tool to help a company elevate its brand or to get in front of more of their target customer. If you're selling video to brands, let's just be honest, what do they care about? They don't care about your cinematography, your gear, your color grading. What they actually care about is selling more stuff, selling more products, more services, more rooms, period. So if you want to increase your rates, you have to start selling what the brand actually wants. Sell the results, not the video. So great, now we're creating more conversations, we're selling them on what they actually need, so we're good, right? Well, not exactly. Because if you're anything like me, you probably value sustainability. You don't want to be chasing paycheck to paycheck, which means we have to figure out how to get these brands to pay us again and again. So how do you make that happen? Well, you learn step number 3. So imagine this, a client pays you $5,000 for a video, you go out, you create this cinematic masterpiece, you're hyped up on the final result, deliver it to the client, they use the video, and it flops. What are the chances that you get hired again? What are the chances that they refer you out to their friends? It's probably actually the opposite, so we need to change that. And you could sit here and blame it on the algorithm or some other external factor, but the fact of the matter is the algorithms are designed to keep people engaged on the platform and to push content that keeps people engaged on the platform for as long as possible. So like it or not, you have to understand what game you're playing and play by their rules, not your own. So the next logical question becomes, well, what makes a video great? Well, this is what Kevin Oleary from Shark Tank says he'd happily pay $250,000 a year for.
They're getting salaries of over $250,000 a year if they're any good, because they can tell the story and digitize the service or product online and entice customer acquisition.
Did you catch that? He's not hiring videographers to create videos for him. He's hiring them to entice customer acquisition, or in other words, to make sales at scale. So what makes a video great? Well, it's the one that helps push the sales cycle one step further. But what's a sales cycle? Well, typically a customer is going to go through a predefined cycle before they make an actual buying decision. So the first stage is that you have to be aware that the product even exists. Then once you're aware, you have to build trust with the company and the product. And then lastly, you have to be converted into thinking that this product is actually going to be the best fit for your needs. And there's all kinds of different videos you can create around this, but to keep it simple, I'm going to give you an example of 3 different types of videos that correlate with each stage of the buying cycle. The first is awareness videos, and the entire point of these is to get in front of cold audiences that know nothing about the brand and to pique the person's interest. Most often, this is in the form of organic social content or paid ads. Now, obviously, there's all kinds of different ads, but I'm going to talk about 2 different types here. The first is UGC, or user-generated content ads. So because these aren't as produced, they feel more natural, more organic, less salesy, and less like an ad, meaning people are more willing to watch it. And these are especially useful for e-commerce brands. On the flip side of it, we have more production ads. So these are things you would see on TV, YouTube, in-stream, and even brands use them on social media as well, but they're more for brands that already have an established brand image, brand voice, and they are also typically more luxurious. But in either case, because I'm just a nice guy and because you subscribe to the channel, I'm going to give you some free game on how you can actually find these top performing videos and model some of the frameworks of your videos off of them. So we're going to open up good old TikTok and hit the search button and type in our keywords. So for example, it might be backpack, type in backpack, search that, go to the videos page, and the top 3 dots on the upper right will bring up filters. We're going to filter by like count as well as posted in this month. Hit apply, and that's going to give you the top performing videos for the last month. And you can just go through here and look at exactly how they frame these and then do something similar for your videos. So now that people are aware that a business or a product exists, we have to establish trust with them in order for them to actually want to buy, which you do through the second type of video, which I call nurture videos. So a lot of times these could be brand story videos, but in order to understand why these videos are so important, you first have to understand who is most likely to watch these types of videos. So likely it's the people who are already interested in a product and are kind of in the process of making making a buying decision. So having a killer brand story video is really the difference between closing the deal, making the sale, or losing the customer. Which brings me to the third type of video, which is conversion video. So a lot of times this could be a product explainer. So if a product is unique or complex, it really needs a great product explainer video in order to be able to break down all the features of it in a very digestible way. So it's got to be polished, it's got to be professional, and it's got to be clean. And an amazing product explainer video is an incredible sales asset both for a sales team as well as on a website, because it can quickly build trust with the client as well as educate them on all the features of the product and help them make that final decision. So just a few examples of how you could implement this. If you're doing it for a software, it could be a product demo. It could be an animated explainer video. If you're doing it for a resort, this could be an overview of all the amenities that they use on the in-room TVs or in the resort lobby, or potentially even on the website. And if it's for a product that has a very unique selling point, then it could explain how the product works in either a video format or potentially even a GIF. So creating more conversations, selling what brands actually need, and getting videos that get results is literally how I've built my video business from the ground up to be able to work with some of the top brands in the world and be able to help my creator clients scale their business to $10,000 a month plus in the process. So if you want to learn the exact strategies that I use to scale my creator business to $40,000 a month, I actually created a free training that goes way more in depth. So if you want access to that, all you have to do is DM me training on Instagram and I'll shoot it over to you. So now that you have the blueprint to success, there's still one huge mistake that I see most videographers make, and that is that you don't have an offer that's so good that brands literally can't say no to it. But don't worry, I got you. You can check out this video right here where I break down the best no-brainer content offer that you can plug and play into your business today. So I'll see you over there.